The kid, you got him throwing the ball every play. Come on. He's a kid. He throws an interception and run back for a touchdown. You call 10 more passes. You don't ever run the ball. Running the ball is a calming thing for the whole offense, the whole team really. Come out and run the ball, put together a long, grinding drive. It would have been good for the entire team. And he just got pass happy. You call 3 run plays in the entire game.
That they have these ability to be able to tailor these game plans. Go ahead, Gary. You were talking about he's got to lean more into that throw and not make it look like a punt return.
Yeah. He just vastly underthrew that ball, and I had to talk to him because you don't want to make that bad of an accuracy. The accuracy can't be that far off. Because the DB's like patting his glove. It's such an easy interception. So we can't make those kind of mistakes. And then, the late throw, even though Smith, he fell, Devontae Smith fell on the play. And you see when he came to the sideline, this is his boy. He go, hey, what happened? What happened? This is a national television audience. This guy's running this back. This is Diggs, who is one of their boys too. Going, we can't let him do this in front of us. In front of the nation. But that's painful, and it might be good for them in the long run because if you learn from that type of embarrassing performance, but they look like they just didn't even belong out there. I just think they got to think about how they're going to use the kid. You can't totally get away from the running game like that, though. Even if you're behind, if you're in such a panic, if the coach is saying, well, we got to throw every down. Look, coach, let's everybody relax. We're in the first half, and we will not run the ball at all. Come on. You're doing the defense a favor. The guys are really going to be teeing off the pass rush. Like, come on, Dan, they're not going to run. What are you doing? You go, man, later for the run. We are teeing off. We're going to get some sacks. And that's the way you make the job harder for your offensive line when you start doing that. And, they were getting to Jalen a little bit more than I expected. And I think part of it is because they just abandoned the run, totally abandoned. And then you want to hold the ball a little bit so your defense can take a breath because they were on the field. And really, I got to give it to Dallas. The way they were running the ball and Dak was pretty much throwing short and intermediate routes. He didn't take a lot of shots downfield. They controlled the ball. They were wearing that defense out. And really, Mike McCarthy, I got to give him a minus because at the half, you don't call timeout and you try to put another dagger in there because if you could take them out by the half, you take them out. You don't let people hang around, man, because when you let people hang around, sometimes they come back to life. So I was always told, can you put the dagger in them? Well, then put it in them.
Right.
So they call a timeout and score another touchdown before the half is out, and they go in, they're up 27-7. They could talk about a whole lot of things over there at the halftime, but some of the guys are going like, you see where our offense is looking? We can't come back. We're not going to come back. So you go ahead and you take people out. So McCarthy, he's not doing a good job with the time management because he didn't call timeout or anything. And the way their offense was rolling, they would have went back in. They could have scored again. But looking at the Eagles, I got to give I got to give Hargrave, man. This kid is playing, man.
You said it, dude. He is the best player on that football team right now. And I'll tell you what, he wreaked havoc in the first half. And to your point, Gary,
yeah,
they wore them out by the halftime because there were too many 3-and-outs on offense.
That's
and before you know it, then they got the lead. Then they had to throw from behind. Then they abandoned the run. And then your defense is out of gas.
Yeah, and they ran, like you mentioned, all the plays, grinding. They were grinding them, man. And then they're double teaming the 2 tackles. Now, I got to call out those linebackers. I tell you, I would have been ready to fight. Dude, get up in there, man.
Yeah.
They're double teaming us. You guys are sitting back here waiting, catching the back, and he's 7 yards downfield. Like, how many times they got to run the same play for you to get up in here and put a helmet under the chin of that running back to stop this mess,
Hey, Garry, let me tell people what you're talking about. And see, the defensive line gets pushed back into the linebackers. There's a scrape lane that these linebackers have that they go down the line of scrimmage behind us. Our job is to make sure that we hold up these guys and not get blown off the ball or run around blocks.
That's right.
And get them linebackers blocked so Garry can come up there and fill either the 3-hole, 2-hole, 1-hole. Everybody's got a gap responsibility. So you thought they lost their gap integrity last night.
They weren't attacking the line of scrimmage. I mean, they were just catching, they were catching the back and I mean, not aggressive. I don't know. I mean, I knew the kid Eric Wilson, I saw him I saw them start taking him out. And I know he's not taking the line of scrimmage, man. You can't just give them 5, 6. They're going to say, well, why should we run anything else? Run the same play. We'll run it again. If they're not going to come up and attack the line of scrimmage, because after a while, you come up, you can look at the line. They're running the same play. You can see their stance. Their guys are leaning. You got to come up and really you help out your lineman. You come up and you get one of those linemen under the chin, smack him, or they're just going to the double team and then they come off on the linebacker. They were doing that the whole night. And the Eagles are going to see that again. Other people are going to see it on film. As a linebacker, you got to attack those guys. And really, if they're on a double team, you can come up. Sometimes you get a good hit on them. And, those big guys don't like that. They feel pain too.
Oh, yeah.
But they got to be more aggressive though. And because they were able to pretty much run at will. And then after they get the running game going, then the passing game, because then you go play action and the linebackers got to attack the line of scrimmage then. But you can't let people just run the ball on you like that. And you got to give Dallas credit. They just really just took over that game and they basically were dictating, we do whatever we want to do. And with a defensive line as good as the Eagles have, linebackers got to do a better job than that. And really, I thought that maybe one of those linemen was going to turn and start getting into their face. Say, man, you guys get up here and attack this play, man. They're doubling us, and you guys are still sitting back there 7 yards deep. If you want to play DB, then play DB. You guys are linebackers, man. Get in here. Mix this thing up. But they can't let teams run the ball on them because team run the ball on like they're going to wear out your defensive line. And then you got no pass rush. Because times you go into the huddle, man, you look over there at that D line, and those guys, you don't see anybody's face. All you see is the top of their head, and you hear the breathing. You got no pass rush, man.
Hey, man, no doubt about it. That's exactly what went on in that game there. And let me throw this at you too here, Garry. I made a complaint that I thought that Jalen needed to play a little bit more in the exhibition season to get some repetition going instead of these controlled scrimmages. Two things that you mentioned, not stepping into the throw. Some of these things were technique. And like you said, him just dropping back like this, and I know Devontae fell, but watch this. He dropped back and he looked, the safety jumped the route.
That's right.
He immediately jumped the route because he didn't do the little nuance thing that it takes. Keep the safety.
That's right.
Hey, throw it. And just those little tiny things, you and I know, hey, you get away with that crap in college.
That's right.
But you're not going to get away with that because everybody in the NFL is a technique hound. And I just wondered, I go, no, that comes to coaching too. It just looked to me that, okay, so you abandoned the running game because you started throwing from behind. You don't have a quarterback. And let me throw a stat at you again, 57.6 completion percentage. You know that this who this quarterback is right now in his career as an NFL quarterback. 57.6 on a completion percentage, that ain't going to cut it.
No, it's not going to cut it.
This comes back down to coaching again. My question is, do you think they've been prepared for these first 3 games?
Well, I tell you, the way the last 2 have gone, I mean, especially this past game, they were clearly outmatched by them, and I got to give Dallas credit for, coaching and the fact that they seemed like they were better prepared. They came out and everything that the Eagles did, Dak was ready for. And he's a seasoned quarterback, in fairness. The kid, you got him throwing the ball every play. Come on. He's a kid. He throws an interception and run back for a touchdown. You call 10 more passes. You don't ever run the ball. Running the ball is a calming thing for the whole offense, the whole team, really. Come out and run the ball, put together a long, grinding drive. It would have been good for the entire team. And he just got pass happy. You call 3 run plays in the entire game.
Damn.
That's unheard of. Come on.
Unheard of.
Never do that, especially you got a guy. Well, he's really still in it like his rookie year. Come on.
Hey, Garry, I wouldn't do that if I had Tom Brady as my quarterback.
That's right. You know what? And Tom wouldn't let you do it.
That's right.
He would have told, hey, coach, hey, we got to balance this thing out. Because now you're putting your offensive line in such a grind because you're throwing every play. They know you're throwing, and you just don't run the ball at all, meaning they don't even think about running the ball. Hey, you can hand the ball off and get 10 yards. You got it, a good back there, but you just totally abandon. That's a coach. That's a rookie coaching mistake to do that type of thing because you want to calm everybody down, especially after that interception for the touchdown. You got to have your guys calm. A good team, if they fall behind, you can see they just stay with it. They don't panic. And panicking is saying, okay, we got to throw the ball every play. No, that's panic. You can't be like that. And your players pick that up. Every play, 3 run plays in the entire game. Now, come on.
Hey, you know what? You mentioned this about Dak being a pro. I'll tell you what. Garry, you said it yesterday, too, in the pregame show. I went like this. I said, man, I'll tell you what. I was watching a game last night. I'm like, Gary's so right. This guy knows where to throw the ball. He did what you said, too. He never panicked. When they had a 3rd and like a mile, what did he do? He got a couple yards. He punted. He let his defense play. He played field position. That, to me, is him and maybe Kellen Moore, because I'm with you. I think Mike McCarthy's been exposed since he left Green Bay. I don't think he's a very good coach, and that's why they kept Kellen Moore as the coordinator and kept him as the play caller because
I tell you,
him
Dan,
and Dak were on the same page.
Now, we used to talk as players about guys stealing. Mike McCarthy's stealing, man.
Yeah, he did.
I mean,
yes, he
Mike
is.
had retired. Come on, he retired. Jerry calls him. He said, how much are you talking about, Jerry? Hey, baby. Baby, we're going to have to go down there to Dallas for a few years, okay? But look at what we're talking about. And he's down there. Come on. He's stealing, man. Last week they said what? He couldn't see the time.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was blocked out for him and everything.
No, he was looking at he said this, he was looking at the wrong clock in the building. And I told everybody here, I go, usually what you have is you have a guy standing there, the guy holding your cord. He also is the guy telling you what the official time is, sitting there next to you. If you're looking up at a scoreboard, you're daydreaming.
Yeah. Well, you know what Mike's probably doing during the game? Hey, what do they got to eat in there after the game, man?
What's on the trade table?
What's on the trade? Hey, what kind of drinks they got on the plane? I mean, come on.
Hey, what's the media meal like?
Hey, I'll tell you, I've seen players do it. You know, most of the time players are doing it. They're because I gotta admit, I was down there in Dallas last year. I stole. My knee was hurt. Going like, hey, look, always in a good mood. Hey, man, hey, how's it going, everybody? Dip in there and get the check right back out.
No. I was sitting right next to Garry. He looks over at me. He goes, "I've just been traded to Philly," and and Ed Jones is sitting next to me. He goes, God damn. Ed goes like this. Wait a minute, you got traded? He goes, yeah, I just got traded to Philly. We're sitting in Thousand Oaks, right? And what was he? Garry gets traded. I go, Garry. Everyone stopped talking to him.
You live and you learn,
Hey, Garry, let me ask you, Sirianni. I'm going to ask you 2 questions about Jalen and Dan Sirianni here. Give me your thoughts as a play caller so far. I mean, to me, like you just said, I think the fact that they saw that game film in the second half of the 49er game, Dallas said we were going to run the ball because the 49ers figured it out that they could run the ball, and they were able to run the ball because they knew that the offense on the other side was going to do a boatload of 3-and-outs. It just seems to me I'm seeing the same game plan that I saw against the Atlanta Falcons. Nothing's really evolved from the Falcon game. It looks like the same stuff, but just less rushing attempts.
Well, they are really going to have to decide what kind of team they're going to be. And I don't think that Sirianni has established that. Like, what type of team are we? Now, if you are
Identity.
if you are a team and you got a balanced attack, you're never going to get to where you're going to get to the point where you're going to call 3 running plays. I mean, and you can't get into a situation where if you fall behind, you just lose your own identity. Can't do that. This is who we are. This is what we do. And I don't think Sirianni has established that, and he's not thinking clearly. And, that's why it's good probably to have an old head on your coaching staff that you can sit out, that can come to you and go, hey, coach, let me talk to you. It's good to have one of those old heads on there because
like a Wade Phillips.
That's right. That's right. Because, they'll bring you back down when you're getting ready, when you're doing something stupid. But to just get to the point where you totally abandon what you're doing, and then what you're doing is you're really hurting your young quarterback too, because you got him throwing the ball too much, and if he's already thrown a couple of picks, he's not throwing with confidence. And so you want to have some things where you are running the ball so you can still do some play action pass. So you're not asking him just drop back and throwing the ball where the ball's going to be in the air 20, 25 yards, because, he's got to feel a little shaky after throwing a couple picks, and especially one of them run back to the house. You can say what you want, but quarterbacks don't forget that real quick when they get one run back to the house,
Absolutely. Hey, what do you make of Henry High School with the T-shirts now?
Well, I think, we better not see any more of those T-shirts. I know this city. He already played that card. They're going, wait, you played that card. We don't want to see that card anymore. You start winning some games. We brought you in here to win games. You need to spend more time concentrating on calling plays rather than what stupid T-shirt to put on. We don't want to see anymore. I'm telling you, he keeps wearing them. He's going to wind up with some problems. You're going to have the whole city. They're going to start calling it Timmy T-shirt. They're going to call him something like that.
No, they were calling him Henry High School yesterday on my show.
That's right. Hey, that's right. Hey, that's right. You're going to hear that. Henry High School, man. And, it gets old because you need to be focused on doing a better job of calling the plays, designing some plays which are going to help Jalen right now, because his confidence got to be a little shaky. And you look up, you got a Chief team coming up that they lost their last 2 games. So how bad do they want to beat you? You
plus Andy Reid. Plus Andy Reid coming into the link.
Andy Reid coming back in is, his players gonna say, Coach, we're gonna do you proud in here. You can look up and you could be trailing by 35 at the half now. You don't want that. So he's got to get it together, and it starts with him. Got to talk to the team, but they got to come out. They got to have a balanced attack, because you want to keep the ball away from Kansas City. So you want some drives. You want to put that ball on the ground. So you want a balanced attack, and you want to have some plays that the young kid that he believes in, and he's got to take care of the ball. And Kansas
City struggling on defense right now. I mean,
Yeah,
they
they
can't
are
tackle
struggling.
anybody, and they're turning the ball over. But like
That's
you
right.
said, man, coming into the link, they're going to be hungry here. I got to ask you about one question with Jalen. Do you believe that he's the franchise and the future of this team? And I say this to you. Somebody asked me about options.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I don't know what's in the draft, because I'm not really a draft guy when it comes to picking, and I don't have a crystal ball, but I do know this.
Yeah.
Jimmy Garoppolo is, what's the record I wrote down? Garoppolo right now is 24-6 as a starting quarterback in San Francisco, and he's won an NFC championship.
Yep.
Look at all the reclamation projects, Gary. Look at Sam Darnold in Carolina. Look at Tannehill in Tennessee. Look at what you're seeing with Bridgewater in Denver. You're seeing guys that people gave up on. So there's going to be options for this Eagle team. It's not always going to be in the draft. Hey, could it be Aaron Rodgers? I don't know. He's not going to play in Denver next year. And could it be still Deshaun Watson? Give me your thoughts on the direction. Do you think they should run a dual track, give the kid a chance, but also keep options open to try to see what the future can? Because we see Dak right now. You and I know this. Yeah. The reason that the Dolphins are looking at Deshaun Watson, they know they need somebody to beat Josh Allen in Buffalo. There's nobody in that division. Tua can't beat him. And if I'm the Eagles, I know right now Jalen Hurts cannot beat Dak Prescott. They will own that division with Jalen as a starting quarterback. That's just my opinion. I may be wrong. How do you see that?
Well, I think I agree with you. Right now, unless Jalen shows something, I just don't see the type of skills really. And basically it's the throwing. And he hasn't shown it yet. Now he's going to get time. They're going to give him at least probably 10. How many, 10, 14 games or so. He's going to get plenty of time to show whether he can do it or not. But he's got to be able to make the big time throws. That's really the thing that's a question on him. And when you see him underthrow that ball like he did on Sunday on that where you got your wide receivers got to step on a guy and you underthrow that ball that poorly, that makes people wonder. So he's still got a chance, but he's got to show his stuff. But there are other options. And I'll tell you this. The Eagles were looking at Deshaun Watson. They were down there looking at him. They have got, they're looking at other quarterbacks. Now, the kid's going to get his shot. But if he thinks he's going to just have this job just because he's the guy here now, no. That's not going to get him this job, because the Eagles are looking, and they want to win championships. That's the way, Jeffrey Lurie thinks. He wants to win championships. They won one. They want to go back. And they know you got to have a marquee quarterback if you want to be big time in the NFL. Look at the big, Aaron Rodgers on Sunday. Come on, man. That's the kind of big time plays. The last two throws, man, you're going like, how do you make those throws that easy, man? Now, Jalen doesn't have that kind of accuracy yet. Will he ever get anywhere near there? He's got to show it. And that's where they're going to look around for different places. And they got all those draft picks. That's the thing. They can really go out and get pretty much what they want.
They have the assets.
They're almost to the point where they got 3 first-round picks you could throw up there. A lot of teams, there are a lot of great players. But a lot of teams will call you back and you say 3 first-round picks for whoever,
You're mortgaging your future there for that. Finally here, okay, the link on Sunday for Andy Reid coming in. Do they Eagle fans boo him or do they celebrate him?
I think it's probably going to be mixed because some people are going to be ready to boo because of that game last Sunday. A lot of people they want to get some booing out because they were booing at home when the Eagles were getting. so some people are coming with boo in their blood, but you got a lot of people who are going to look at Andy, want to give him a nice round of applause because he was here so long. He finally got a Super Bowl and everything, and the fact that he's been great for football. He's raised a lot of young coaches. He's done a lot of good jobs. And Andy's a good guy. He's a nice guy to know. And he doesn't really mean anybody any harm. He's not the kind of guy that's going to be, backstabbing people and stuff like that. He's a good-natured guy. So I think you're probably going to have a mix there because there are a lot of boos. The people were booing at home when they were looking at Dallas beat the Eagles. So there's going to be some booing. Don't let them get behind.
Hey, wait a minute. So who's going to get booed louder, Andy or the Eagles, if they get behind in that game? Sirianni's going to hear it, you think, at the link if they get behind?
He is going to hear it. It better not be where you get embarrassed, like they did against the Cowboys. It's going to get ugly, man. There'll be highlights all over TV the whole next week. Because people are they got some real boos in them, man. They're going to boo, You don't get embarrassed like that. They're not ready for that. So
hey, wait, Garry, I got to sneak one more in on you here.
Yeah.
Do you think management is going to have patience with Sirianni here? Do you think they're going, if they see this thing comes off the rails, and I'm not saying that it's going to be somebody like a Rod Marinelli up in Denver or up in Detroit when he went 0-16, nothing like that. I'm not saying that. But if they are looking at this and nobody's been developed or anything, and this thing is off the rails after what they just did with Doug Peterson, because I'll tell you what, you fired Doug Peterson for this.
I know.
Boy, you got to really, if you're an Eagle fan and you're sitting in the seats watching this going, hang on here.
Yeah.
Okay, we were banged up last year. Our quarterback wasn't playing well, so we get it. We went out and we're going to try to make another move at quarterback. But you fire a Super Bowl coach for this? I mean, at least Doug Peterson's teams were prepared. That thing looked like unprepared last night. Am I wrong?
You're right. I mean, they looked sloppy, and when you get to the point where you kind of show your cards when you only run the ball 3 times, when you just totally lose sight of what's going on. I don't know that they would do it that quick, man. But I tell you what, I would be getting nervous if I was him, because
Howie's on the hot seat.
Hey, Laurie wants to win.
Yeah.
And if he sees, and he knows that, look, we can go get us a quarterback. We got 3 first-round draft picks. But we need to have the coach in here. And if this guy's not the guy, he keeps coming out there with those T-shirts. They're going to say, maybe you should get in the T-shirt business.
Garry, thank you, brother. I appreciate it, man. Thanks on the recap. My friend Garry Cobb, God, I love him so much. He is just absolutely spectacular from Fox 29 in Philly. We'll take a timeout. Back to your thoughts. Back to Big Sale's thoughts. I got 3 pages now. We'll hit on it next here on the National Football Show.